Last but not least, we're going to cover the proximity principle. Proximity is the relationship of design elements, which basically means we want to package information together. So think about it, it's all relative. So when we're thinking of proximity, the proximity principle, think of it as grouping related items together. So whether it be textual content or visual content, such as photographs, how do we create a relationship between those elements? So when we're looking at textual content, we put related items together and we package them together as a group. So here we have breakfast and all the breakfast items, lunch and all the lunch items, dinner and all the dinner items. And the way they're packaged together, so we know that this list of information under breakfast definitely goes with breakfast. So just organizing the information and categorizing them helps package that information. So a menu is a very obvious one that we package together. We can also use colors to connect those so that we know that these are breakfast, lunch, and dinner, that these are categories of food. So there's a relationship between these items based on the color. We can create white space between those groups of items to help separate those packages of information. And so we can see now, and we can change the size, of the text to make it more obvious. We can add contrast by using size, weight, or style of fonts in order to create visual separation of those ideas, or in this case, categories. We can organize and create packages of information using design tools as well, colored boxes, images. So now we've got a complete package of information, nicely separated by space, treated with different colors. So we have contrast in color based on the category that the information sits in. We see this all the time in design, so you'll be able to identify those much more clearly now. So proximity, the principle here is that's where you'll recognize it the most. Proximity, or newspaper, how stories with their photos and headlines are all packaged together because it's all relatable information. So when we take a look at a business card, where do we look here? We tend to look dead center here. We ignore the fact that Amrutha D is the name of the person on the card. Her title is all the way over on this side, and then the information is at the bottom. It is clearly disorganized. We have right alignment, left alignment, center alignment. It's all over the place. How do I create a visual relationship between these elements? So we take this card, take the exact same elements, and organize the information together. So now Amrutha D is the investment banker. Great. Name and title. These two things go together, separated by space. Now the important part of this particular information down here is Goldman Norman India Limited. It is treated in bold, so there's contrast in text, and it lists its items underneath. So now we know the location and the address. Plus, we have the nice logo, and look how nicely alignment is working on the right-hand side here. So this is beautifully packaged together, and white space is used properly here, creatively, because we don't need to fill this in, and we don't feel the need to fill it in. My focus went right up here first, upper right-hand corner, then my eye flowed down to this bold text, and I read the text below. So this is a good example of proximity and creating packages of information based on their location on the card. Then we have these great posters. So this particular poster, you can see the repeated element. We have this artwork inside the brush, which is also repeated here in the word review. But the way things are packaged together is by size. So the first thing we're going to read is the Tuscarora review. But the very second thing we're going to read is this call for entries. So these two things are relatable, and this is the call to action. This is what we want people to do when they get there. Then things become secondary. These two things are relatable based on their size and how they're treated. And then we have tertiary, and goes on with the information as it gets smaller down the poster. This is a great example. This cigarette is a great example of proximity. So if we zoom in on this particular one, and I'll see if I can zoom in on this particular shape. You can see how this one's treated. So proximity, we have the word acetone, and to the left is its definition. We have acrolein, and to the right is its definition. Ammonia, definition. I'm not even going to say it, pronounce it, and definition. Arsenic, definition. Benzene, definition. So you can see we have this nice back and forth, and helps balance out this repetition here. But we have relatable information, right? We have the definition sitting directly beside the word, which creates a visual package here. They're related. So this information here is related to this. This information is related to this word, this information here, and so on and so forth as we bounce back and forth. So they've created a visual relationship. And we have a little blurb here about cigarette ingredients, and it's treated in yellow. The rest is all white. These are all the ingredients. So we have a separation of ideas here. These are all ingredients. Everything in yellow is not. So its contrasting color helps create a different package versus all the ingredients in white. Then we move on to this package here, and this is a great package because it's separated by shapes. We also have great headline design here, so it helps us navigate through the material. Repeated elements such as the background colors. Look at the lists. They've created using the proximity principle. Everything here has a check mark, so all our lists are treated the same. They're consistent throughout. And we nicely packaged elements together. This page is the design page. This center page is the build page. This page is the buy and sell page, and it's nicely separated with this nice white grid. And notice, just like our typography poster we were working on, they filled every nook and cranny here, whether it be with shapes or textures or text. Great example of proximity and packaging your information together. Menus, again, excellent tool, excellent way to package information together. And last but not least, our website. Websites are a great place to take a look at how well they've used repetition, alignment, proximity, how things are packaged together so it makes it easy to navigate through the material. And that's the end of our proximity review, thanks to the dog who also thinks this should be over. Anyway, that's the end of our CRAP principles: contrast, repetition, alignment, and proximity.